Hello, I'm Keith Hatschek from University of the Pacific, and we'll be presenting to you All Access, a Backstage Pass to a collaborative undergraduate music journal. I serve as editor-in-chief for this journal. My co-presenters are Michele Gibney, publication manager, and Nicole Wasnock, who is a founding editor. Today's presentation will cover the nature of our collaboration between the Music Management Program and the library, the journal's mission to provide a platform for notable student accomplishments, a vehicle to empower students to find and use their voice, and for our editors, learning the skills of editing and publishing a journal. We'll also cover the process we use to bring each issue to publication. Please note the URL for the journal homepage, go.pacific.edu/Backstage Pass. We hope you'll visit us online after today's presentation and let us know what you think. So, hey, it's a quick audience participation question. But since we can't do that via pre-recorded video, I'll pause for a second to acknowledge you all scratching your heads and pondering this question. Okay, the answer? Less than 5 and only 3, including Backstage Pass, that focus on the music business. Backstage Pass publishes an issue in the spring to summer of each academic year, and so far has published 3 installments, which we call volumes. Within each volume, we have the option of publishing 1 or more issues. Volumes 1 and 2 had a single issue, and with Volume 3, we featured Issue 1, a collection of various works following the mold of our previous editions, plus a second issue, which is a special All Beatles edition with 10 submissions. These 3 volumes contain a total of 81 submissions, which have been downloaded more than 16,000 times from 130 nations around the world. On this slide, you can see that our campus leadership has enthusiastically endorsed the journal and its function. Music and library deans offered their comments, and one of our founding editors, Rachel Hawks, shares the impact that serving in that role and also contributing a substantial article had on her self-confidence and sense of accomplishment. So the initial idea for the journal came from the fact that the literature, and more importantly, many employers we spoke with, confirmed that professional level writing and communication skills are the most important attributes they're seeking in new hires. Backstage Pass was conceived to provide a public platform to value good writing and to bring attention to the ideas and discourse Pacific students are engaging in. The journal celebrates scholarship, critical thinking, and writing excellence at the undergraduate level. And it's to expand awareness beyond our campus, especially with employers, of the good work our students were doing. My editor's welcome letter in Volume 1, Issue 1, makes the detailed case for the journal's launch, in case you'd like to see that. As we got ready to launch the first volume, we realized that we needed to set up some curricular assignments to help feed submissions to the journal. We've done so each year in various classes. Here's a timeline, and you can see some of the milestones. As we started discussing the idea for a journal back early in fall of 2017, to the varying time it has taken to bring each volume through to the publication stage. The cycle is currently 8 to 9 months each year. This year added a little more time since we were not able to collaborate in person due to the pandemic. One of our founding editors, Nicole, will detail the editorial process later. Our founding editors were Nicole Wasnock, Jada Macias, and Rachel Hawks. For our 2 most recent volumes, our editors have included Nicole, Concerts and Reviews, June Benoit, Industry News and Analysis, and Axel Tanner, was our 2019 Industry Profiles editor, with Jennifer Morrow, pictured at the bottom, taking over from Axel for the latest volume. Okay, this is a process graphic, and it shows the entire cycle of how volume is created. Remember, with a goal of student empowerment, it's important that the faculty, namely Michele Gibney and myself, try to serve mostly as coaches and problem solvers, leaving student editors to do most of the heavy lifting in the editorial process. So the benefits of an undergraduate journal and writing and editing are pitched to all students in our program as we work to solicit not only submissions, but also editors. Okay? So faculty are pitching pretty much throughout the year, on and off. As mentioned, curriculum modified to align with Backstage Pass input goals. 3 of these would be examples such as the Curiosity projects, which were assigned, media reviews, which were assigned, or position papers, which were assigned, aka op-ed pieces. Currently, about 1/4 of authors submit to the journal directly via the online submission platform. 3/4 have submissions made by faculty on their behalf, which is covered in the course syllabus. We're working to improve direct submission ratios all the time. Now, I'd like to hand off to my colleague, Michele Gibney from University Libraries, who, as I mentioned, serves as our publication manager. Take it away, Michele, with the next slide.
Thanks, Keith. Hello, everybody. My name is Michele Gibney, and I am the Publications Manager for Backstage Pass. I'm also the Institutional Repository Manager for all of Scholarly Commons, which is the institutional repository at University of the Pacific. So in addition to Backstage Pass, we host 2 other journals as well, plus a lot of law reviews from the McGeorge School of Law. It hosts theses and dissertations. It hosts faculty scholarship that they've published in external journals as well as conferences. There's other student work from various courses, and it also has the digital special collections from Holt Atherton Special Collections in the University Archives. So we have a variety of materials in the repository, and we are using the bPress Digital Commons platform for our repository hosting, which includes Backstage Pass. It has a lot of built-in editorial management tools, which are very useful when working with a journal such as Backstage Pass. So those are really useful in the repository and the journal hosting. And it does a couple of other things that I'm going to talk a little bit more about for the platform repository specifically. And I have 3 slides that I will talk about. So this is the first one, so you can prepare yourself for what you're in for. And we will move to the second one now. So on the second slide, you can see there's a lot happening on it, and I will talk about everything sort of in detail. So the first thing in the upper left-hand side is that I helped, and bPress Digital Commons helped, with the design of the journal. So if you haven't gone to it already, we did provide the URL, so I definitely recommend it. But that picture that says Backstage Pass, and then it has a music concert that's happening, we helped design that. So we did the lettering, we picked out pictures, we tried a variety of different pictures and color designs, but that is the banner that's at the top of the journal's homepage. So that was something that we helped with, was sort of logos, design elements, colors, all those other the 3 little pictures that say Backstage Pass in Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, etc. Those are cover art for each journal volume. So those appear on the homepage as well as on each individual issues level page. So I helped create those. We also turned those into stickers, which if we were there in person, we would be giving you stickers right now so that you could have something to remember this, and it has the URL on it, and there are a variety of colors. They're really fun, but we're not there, so we cannot give you stickers. But that's what we base the stickers on. So we helped with that. Another thing the repository does automatically is create these automatic PDF cover pages. So the middle top is one of those cover pages. So you can see it has the logo for the journal at the top. It has various information that we customized to include on the front page. So that includes hyperlinks back to the journal itself, because as you may or may not know, most people who search Google or other search engines, if they see a PDF, they will automatically go to the PDF first before they go to the website. So we wanted to be able to create PDFs that people would be able to look at and then come back to the journal and discover more of the work that was there. So we helped customize that. It has a section that gives a little tiny bio about the author or authors, and it has another section that talks about how it was written and published at the University of the Pacific as part of the Music Industry Studies program, and there's links to the Music Industry Studies program. So we were attempting to sort of create something that might be of interest to prospective students who are looking at universities that they might want to attend and using this kind of research for their high school or whatever they're doing, and that then they might get intrigued and want to come to Pacific. So we did that. And there are a couple other things on here as well, like this is citation, which is helpful if anyone's citing it, of course. So it's got all sorts of goodies on the PDF cover page that we helped customize specifically for Backstage Pass. And then there was a video that may or may not work during this presentation, but there is a video on the right-hand side that's showing some of the downloads around the world that happen for Backstage Pass. So it's a built-in feature of the journal and the repository platform in general, where it has a global map and it has little pinpoints dropping all over the world as downloads are happening. So there is a recording there, so hopefully it's working. If not, we have our slides on Google Drive and we're happy to share a link with it later so you can see it if you want to. Or you could go to the website, of course, and it's at the bottom of the page. So there's that that's built in. And it's a really cool feature just to give a sense visually of the impact of the journal that it's having around the world. And then on the bottom is a downloads over time graph. So you can kind of see that back in the beginning when the journal started, it was very small downloads. But over time, as it built up and search engines crawled it and people began to discover it more and there's more papers in it, those downloads have gone steadily up. Some other things have happened with social media that also increased it when it made very large jumps between March and April. Sorry, I'm looking at it. Between March and April of 2020, when some social media stuff happened that Nicole will talk about in a little bit. But so it made a big jump there. But yes, so we track all of that, and that's just one of the statistics that we have on the back end that are available, not only to the editors, but also the authors have ones for their individual articles as well that they can go look at. And I will go to the next slide and talk a little bit more about other things that authors and editors can see too. So this is a new thing that just got implemented for the bpress Digital Commons repository platforms everywhere. But it's a PlumX snapshot. And I don't know how much you will know about PlumX Analytics, but they are basically alt metrics that you can use in research to kind of determine the impact of an article or item using things beyond citations. So in general, with journal publications, citations are what the statistic is. So like citations and downloads are the most important things, but that doesn't always fully capture the impact of an article, especially in the first couple of years, because citations take time to build up. Once you've published it, and you're not going to have a lot in your first year because the journal publishing process takes so long. But so these kind of PlumX analytics can really help you identify what's happening in the first couple of years, determining what kind of social media usage you're getting, what kind of captures and mentions. So like the blog posts are captures, or like when someone bookmarks it to come back to later. So this is very new and it doesn't have a lot in it yet because we're still a relatively new journal, but it does have some, and it's a really cool thing to see. And every author also has access to this within Backstage Pass. So all of the students can go in and look and see what their journal articles are doing. And they're able to take that and they can pull it out and create visual graphics and stuff and provide it if they're applying for grad school or if they're applying for jobs. They can kind of show what their impact is. And as Nicole and Keith have mentioned, or Nicole will mention and Keith has mentioned, one of the most important things that we're hoping Backstage Pass does for the students is increase their communication skills. So like their written communication skills, especially since it's such a valuable part of post-graduation job searching and getting jobs. So that is something that if they show what reach their work has had, the impact, it might be something that sets them apart as a candidate when they're applying for jobs. And that, of course, is something we want to help them with. So those are some of the things that the repository platform does sort of automatically and sort of sometimes through me when I help them with it. But some of these things are really valuable, and we're really hopeful that they help the students, and we're already getting feedback that they are helping the students. So that's great. And I am going to turn it over to Nicole now to talk more about the editor perspective and the student perspective and the author and the writing, since she's done everything. So here is Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. So next we want to talk about publication and two of the main parties in that process, the editors and the authors. As an editor, I will talk about my experience, and we'll also see what an author's experience working with Backstage Pass is like. So I was an editor for 3 years, and I learned some pretty valuable things from that experience, one of them being how to give good constructive criticism. Giving feedback to fellow students can be a tricky line to navigate sometimes, so I had to learn how to frame the issues in a way that led to working with the author in a more collaborative way to get their paper to the point where it was ready to be published. I was also given the opportunity to learn about different sections of the music industry that aren't my primary area of interest, through reading and editing other students' research papers. My primary area of interest is live music, but because such a wide variety of topics are submitted, I got to learn about really interesting things that I probably wouldn't have researched on my own, like blockchain and the evolution of techno music. This position has also improved my professional communication skills through editing grammar and learning how to say things in a more concise and professional way, to fact-checking, formatting, making sure everything is consistent, and these are all transferable skills to any job, and in an interview I can talk about how my experience as an editor has prepared me for the professional world. I'm also a published author in Backstage Pass, so I, as well as any other student author, can show my research papers to potential employers as evidence of my writing and research skills. So next I want to talk about receiving submissions. So here we have the tracking sheet, which is used during the process of building each issue. That's where we track the progress of each submission using a color coding system. So the submissions are split evenly between the editors, but we will reach a unanimous decision on whether we will publish something or not. We use the scoring rubric to assign editors to specific submissions. Then that editor will give the paper a rating on clarity of expression, ideas and originality, and writing mechanics, along with some specific comments to highlight the strengths and weaknesses of the submission. Once an editor has been assigned to a submission and we agree that it will go forward for publication, that editor will work with the author to fix any issues, and ultimately they will be the one to double and triple check that it's ready for publication. So our most downloaded article is LGBTQ+ Representation and Activism in the Music Industry by Joey Tan, and it has 3,961 downloads as of today. One of the reasons that this article blew up so much was because of the exposure that it got on social media, specifically through the tweet that's shown on the slide. We have a quote from Joey who says that writing for Backstage Pass helped me find my voice and better understand what kind of career I want to pursue. They are now a grad student at Claremont Graduate University studying LGBTQ+ representation in the media and society. So what's next for Backstage Pass? We have a lot of ideas for future plans and broadening our audience. As far as publicity and marketing, we have designed stickers and t-shirts, and we are now encouraging authors to post on their social media whenever a new issue is published. We've also broadened our scope of submissions to include more than just text options. We have a few videos in the newest issue, as well as some infographics, and we're really hoping to do some podcasts in the future. We also did a special Beatles issue, and that included a lot of photos and art projects that were Beatles related, like collages, paintings, a painted jean jacket, and even a remix of the song Twist and Shout. In a future year, we may consider other special issues, like an all California one that's open to undergraduates at all the California music colleges, and perhaps even with a guest editor or two. And another idea is a possible festival edition. So thank you for listening. We are open to any ideas, questions, or suggestions, and you can contact Michelle on the email shown on the slide. And make sure to check out Backstage Pass at the URL that's shown on the slide. Thank you.